Hello, my name is Lindsay Stilley, and I'm going to be talking about network systems. A brief overview of network systems. According to Britannica Online, network systems establish consistent design that allows various equipment types to transfer information effortlessly. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Occupational Outlook Handbook, the network and computer system administrator's career is expected to increase by 6% due to newer, faster technologies and mobile networks used by businesses. When you look at network systems, there's three main categories that we learned about in our lecture that I wanted to go over briefly. There's host roles, geography, and signaling. Host roles include peer-to-peer and client-server. Geography includes local area network and wide area network. For example, my school district spans across 30 miles. There's 4 separate buildings, and each of those buildings has its own local area network, and then thanks to a wide area network, we are all able to be connected together. And then there's signaling. There's baseband and broadband. I had a lot of fun learning about the different types of signaling because it brought back some memories when I was younger. Baseband signaling is one signal using up the entire network. So it's like using old dial-up internet. When you would dial up from your computer, you would tie up your phone line. So if somebody decided to call you, they would receive the busy signal because the entire network was being used. We now use broadband where the network is divided up into multiple channels and we can do multiple things at one given time. When asked about network systems and business educators, whether or not business educators should be certified, is it realistic to expect them to be certified? In a perfect world, I think it would be great if all business educators or teachers in general could be certified in IT, specifically network systems, if that's what they are teaching. But we don't live in an ideal world, and I understand that not all of that certification can be done due to time and money. However, I did some research, and in the state of Iowa, since that's where I'm based out of, the state does offer 2 types of endorsements to help those teachers along to become certified in teaching those areas like network systems. Teachers can receive a CTE, Information Technology endorsement, which does cover network systems. And then there's also a computer science endorsement that's offered through 3 universities and colleges in the state of Iowa. Just last year, the state of Iowa dedicated $1 million to train computer science teachers. So the state understands and realizes the push for computer science need, and they're willing to set aside money to help train those teachers. When I was also doing some research and looking into network systems in the state of Iowa, listed here on the slide are some performance elements when it comes to learning about network systems, so what students would be expected to know to be proficient in that specific pathway. To list just a few, students need to demonstrate an understanding of common operating systems in the industry, use operating system principles to ensure optimal system function, listing network devices and functions, identifying different types of networks and their capabilities. Lots of different things. You can see all of the elements listed here on the slide. When it comes to students, we were asked from a student perspective, what are the strengths and weaknesses of the network system pathway? Students are expected to use information technology tools specific to the career cluster to access, manage, integrate, and create information. As a student right now, I think a strength of the network system pathway would be the new opportunities that it might provide for me. I'm new to networking. I don't know a whole lot about it. I had to do a lot of research to understand even what network systems were. So I consider that a new opportunity. I feel a little bit more knowledgeable about what I'm talking about and what network system has to offer the public. Students also could have a lot of different career options. I think about day in and day out how often a school district even, and I work in a very small school district, how often we contact our IT department. That's just one small portion of where network systems careers could take somebody. Some weaknesses I think that students might encounter is minimal knowledge and exposure. For example, when I was in high school, I don't recall any networking classes. I took very basic coding. I had no exposure to networking. I had no idea what it was about. Obviously, I've heard about it since then, but to this day, I still don't know a lot about it. Like I said, I had to do a lot of research in order to become somewhat comfortable to even talk about it. The other weakness we might encounter are having knowledgeable instructors. If we don't have knowledgeable instructors, our students aren't getting the best quality education that they deserve. I think that a way to entice our students to become engaged and excited about network systems or IT in general is just to create awareness for the specific network systems pathway, or just, computer science to get a start. I started teaching computer science a couple of years ago, and since then we've grown our program and transferred it over into the high school, and just having that little bit of awareness, our classes are growing each year. From a business educator standpoint, some strengths and weaknesses of the network system pathways. I think if teachers become certified, I know that if this was my case, if I became certified and able to teach IT and specifically network systems, I would consider myself much more marketable, and I think it would open up a lot more opportunities for me, not only in the education setting, but outside of school. I might be able to freelance my work to help others, or even transition into our IT department at our school. Some strengths is it obviously would give me more opportunities, and it would make me much more knowledgeable. I would feel much more comfortable talking about network systems. Some weaknesses, again, are certifications, taking the time and the money to get certified, and how many certifications, exactly do we need to feel like we've done a sufficient job to teach all of these courses. And again, I also put opportunities because it was mentioned in our lecture, and I completely agree that if teachers are becoming certified or expected to have these certifications, what's keeping them in the education profession when they could go elsewhere to receive much more compensation? As a school district, some strengths and weaknesses are listed, but the school district's job is to provide exposure, especially at that secondary level, to potential career paths. I think a strength of offering a network systems career path, or IT in general, is allowing the students to see all the opportunities available to them. Even though an IT job or network systems administrator, technician, engineer might be behind the scenes, without them, we wouldn't have systems that run so smoothly in our organizations. Another strength would be advancement in technology, keeping up to date on the new technology or being exposed to it, having access to it, lots of different things that are available for our students out there. Some weaknesses, again, as a school district, you might not have enough certified staff to teach these specific courses or, in this specific pathway, and you might need to ask your teachers to get certified, but again, then you have to come up with time and money for them. Which then kind of leads us to a budget issue, because I know that all schools are on a budget, and receiving specific certifications might not always be in the budget for the teacher, let alone in the school district. I think that some of the business educators' responsibilities is obviously to teach business courses. I don't think it's bad or wrong that business educators are teaching IT, specifically, in network systems pathway. But at what point does it become too much? When do we start pulling away from our business program to focus more on our IT programs? And then when do we decide that we've built enough interest, and then we're able to have 2 certified staff members teaching business and then 1 teaching IT? Again, if you have the certification to be an IT teacher, could you be going elsewhere to obviously make more money? Again, and then with the certifications, what's keeping you in the education setting? Right now, I would not feel comfortable teaching network systems. Like I said, I teach very basic computer programming and coding, and I feel very comfortable with that. But again, it's very entry level, very basic, since it's at the middle school level. But it's very enjoyable and it's very rewarding. Overall, network systems pathway, some strengths and weaknesses. A strength is that it's challenging, which is great because it keeps our students engaged. I think computer science and IT in general, they're hard topics. There's a lot of information, and they're very specific. So speaking of network systems directly, I've mentioned several times throughout this presentation, I don't know a lot about it. I had to do a lot of research, watch some videos, to kind of just get a good grasp about what network systems was, what it had to offer, and where people could go with it. There's obviously a lot of career opportunities for people who choose the network systems pathway, and there's a huge growing demand for any IT in general because of the way our society operates and the way we're moving. Some weaknesses, again, are the certifications. How many certifications do you have to get to consider yourself proficient, and how long will all those certifications take? Interest specifically in this pathway, as mentioned, when I was in high school, which was a while ago, I didn't have any idea about networking or information technologies. I had no exposure to that whatsoever. So had maybe I would have chosen something different. I would maybe be in education today because I enjoy it so much. I might have taken a different route. And the other piece would be that network systems pathway. I had found it to be very specific, operating specific programs and operating systems and really just making systems work as a whole. But I know that it would make anybody who's certified in it very, very marketable for other types of jobs too. I would definitely recommend that the school implement a program such as network systems or IT in general. It's challenging for our students. It keeps them engaged and is preparing them for the future, especially for the way that our society is moving. Computer science is a skill that's necessary to navigate today's society, and essentially what we're doing as a school is we're developing the next generation of computer scientists, computer programmers, so we need to prepare them in general. A lot of different opportunities. Right now, Iowa has 3,800 jobs open, and an average salary for a computing occupation in Iowa is about $77,000 a year. So giving our students those opportunities and getting them engaged in somewhere that has a bright future and a stable future would be the right thing to do. Iowa set aside, as mentioned earlier, $1 million last year to help train computer science teachers, which I think can then lead to interest to getting, IT certification and then specifically into maybe network systems pathways or other types. But capitalizing on what the school district itself is going to offer, and schools should be doing that. And then all the careers that are available for our students, such as, network engineers, network administrators, analysts, technicians, the list can go on, and there's so many different opportunities for them, and so many different places that they can be employed. You think about the school has its own IT department, the hospital has its own IT department, or just freelancing or consulting your work out to other businesses. There's so many different ways that our students could go and benefit from taking that network systems pathway. Here are my references for this presentation. Thank you.